to close your eyes. Imagine a typical summer day, starting out hot and humid with only trees to shade you from the sun. Imagine you have little to no protection as you only own the very few clothes you can carry on your back. Later that day, it starts to drizzle, turning the blistering heat into a rainstorm. Now your sweaty clothes become drenched in rain, and you have very few places to find shelter. You spent the day shielding from the weather, meaning it is hard to now go out and look for food in the neighboring trash cans or alleys behind restaurants. Now open your eyes. This is the reality of many homeless people, and the description came from the many creative writing accounts of homeless people in community centers. Welcome to our PSA on homelessness in America. The reality is 580,466 people experience homelessness in America, either on the streets or in shelters. Of that number, 30% are families with children, 50% of unaccompanied youth were unsheltered, and 70% of the homeless population are individuals. Here today with us is Sean Alexander, a Georgia Tech student who works with UMI Feeds, which is a local Atlanta nonprofit that works to decrease food insecurity, especially in the unhoused population. Sean, how is it like working with UMI Feeds and the unhoused population in Atlanta?
It truly is humbling and a great experience to see how fortunate we are. I think they live a whole different reality than that what most people realize. I remember one time we were working with someone, he told us that he didn't expect to live past 18. So I really appreciate you guys interviewing me and shedding light on this topic. It's truly impactful.
And what about your experience when it comes to the student homelessness on campus?
So I also serve on the SJ Committee for Student Needs. This year we were able to increase crisis housing to 8 beds in a local church. We are fortunate enough to have this resource for students. The reality is that student homelessness for Georgia Tech and the concerns are rising as Atlanta rent prices are also rising, and homelessness is closer to us than most people think, and anyone could experience at one point in their lives. We should do our best to support the unhoused population.
Now on to specific terminology. Homelessness has different terminology to describe different situations. Houseless is a term that describes people who may not live in a traditional house, but still feel like they have a home. Unhoused refers to a popular alternative to homeless people as it dodges the negative stigma around the word homeless. Unsheltered is a more general term that is used as a synonym for homeless. This specifically describes people who live in an area not meant for human habitation, such as a car, sidewalk, or park. Therefore, it excludes the homeless who live in shelters or temporary housing. Finally, homeless is the most common term people use to describe this group of people without a home. During our research, we have found many links between health problems and the homeless population. According to the CDC, homelessness is closely connected to declines in physical and mental health. They experience high rates of health problems such as HIV infection, alcohol and drug abuse, tuberculosis, and mental illness. These health problems arise from many different factors, like barriers to care, lack of access to adequate food and protection, and limited resources to social services. If you're looking for more resources for how to help the homeless across the nation, please read through this slide. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about how homelessness impacts well-being.